want to know behind the weddings, how things are done, how to plan for your big day, budget, the new trends, anything and everything about weddings, even just simple tips. Hi, my name is Ty and I have Gabby with me here, and we are Weddings Made Perfect podcast. This podcast is specifically for people that are wanting to know weddings in general, figuring out like what happens. Literally, we're going to have special guests here to talk about like just different things in general to help you make your big day special. We're also going to be coming up with different tips, just different topics and things and discussions on figuring out how to make your big day special. This is, again, Weddings Made Perfect podcast. You could also find us on YouTube. We're going to be doing MP4. So if you definitely want to watch this, you definitely can on YouTube. All you have to do is just type in Weddings Made Perfect podcast and we should pop up and we'll be right then and there. If you want to listen to our podcast, we are hosting our podcast on Red Circle and Anchor.fm, but we will be also distributing out to Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iTunes. I mean, you name it, we're going to be distributing it all out. So it's not just going to be one place only. We're going to try to hit as much places as possible to allow you to listen. If you have any suggestions or even questions or even just comments in general, you could email us at weddingsmadeperfectpodcast@gmail.com, or you could find us on Facebook or Instagram. Just find the post or link that we have for each episode and just comment on there. Say, hey, you guys are awesome, or whatever you want to say. We could definitely read every single comment there is, and we will try to notify that. Even if you guys are getting married, please email us. That's how we can congratulate you guys on a future podcast. We will be more than happy to do that. We love to hear you guys getting married. It's such an honor to be a part of that. Like I said, for future podcasts, we're going to be talking about different things. Our next podcast is going to be about micro weddings, so definitely check that out in a week from now. And then also, like I said, we're going to have special guests, which our first special guest is going to be with Brian Endy with Endy Events. That is ENDY Events. So that's going to be a really good podcast as well. But like I said, this is Weddings Made Perfect podcast. You could email us at weddingsmadeperfectpodcast@gmail.com. And we do have a sponsor.
Weddings Made Perfect is sponsored by Endy Events. Endy Events is a St. Louis-based events company that specializes in photography, videography, DJ and photo booth services, as well as officiant and event planning and coordination services. Check out Endy Events at endyevents.com. That's ENDY events.com. And also, you can find them on Facebook and Instagram at Endy Events. And to request services, email sales@endyevents.com.
So who are we? Well, my name is Ty. I've been a part of this wedding industry for about roughly a decade now. I specialize in cinematography or videography, as you would say. I have done several weddings at this point, and I thoroughly enjoy being a part of this. Just expand my wedding passion further by creating this podcast to give people an outlet of like what's happening behind the scenes, to kind of paint more of a picture for vendors, who we are as a person, because honestly, being a creative person, our schedule is completely different compared to a Monday to Friday 9-to-5 job. We do insanely amount of hours. There's multiple times where I will not have a weekend because I'm doing weddings.
I was going to say, Tyler, when's the last Saturday you had available?
That I don't remember, probably about 6-7 years ago, honestly. But like we are always out there and we love doing what we do. And this is why we're doing it. And I just want to kind of give a spotlight to the vendors and to the creative people that are behind the wedding scene and give them kind of an opportunity and platform to come out and talk about, you know, their experience with this, just with this industry, and just be able to go through the kind of adventure and journey for people that are wanting to potentially book with anybody. Also for anybody who just wants to know about weddings. I myself, being 27 years old, I probably know a lot more than I should. Just in general, like I could literally book my wedding today and do it without zero stress. Why? Because I've been exposed to literally everything possible. And it's a good exposure, don't get me wrong, but I definitely want to give you guys kind of a pathway and be able to help you guys out as much as possible because I'm a very nice guy. I just want to give you guys a chance to be able to understand weddings because I know it's kind of scary to book something because technically you should be getting married only once. But at the same time, though, we understand there's certain reasonings and certain things, and I'm not judging at all. So definitely we want to make sure that that day is 100% perfect for you guys. And this is why I'm creating this podcast. So definitely this is Weddings Made Perfect podcast. So, Gabby, I know technically you've been in the industry for only 6 months now. So who are you? And also, why are you interested in being a part of this wedding industry?
Well, Brian Endy, I actually found him on Facebook. There was a job opening for a client relations consultant. That sounds like 3 words that make no sense. Essentially, what I do is if our brides are looking to book services for Endy events, they can reach us through the Knot. They can reach us through my personal email. So I just help them find the best package for their day. So if they're looking for photography, we go through all the options, and I kind of tell them what they're going to get, and they get to decide, which is best. If they want 2 packages, we've got bundles. So I wouldn't call it a salary job. It's not. It's not a 9 to 5. It's not an office job. It's anytime. I have a bride who will email me at 1 a.m. If I'm up, I'm responding. But it's fun. I just love doing it, and I have been and just so much enjoying the wedding industry as a whole. So it's fun to have this kind of almost outside take for this podcast. I know you've been doing it for a decade, you old man. Yeah. But I'm so glad you've included me, and I'm really excited to kind of discuss what's going on in the industry.
And it's nice to have somebody that's not fully exposed to it yet. So you kind of through this journey that we're literally going to be doing soon. You get to actually experience things that I've probably experienced, and then you kind of get to see like what it is. So it's going to be kind of cool weeks on down the road, seeing the growth of your knowledge behind weddings, which I'm super excited to see. But yeah, it's exciting, and I'm excited for it.
Yeah. So Ty, how did you get into this industry?
I actually got into this industry by being a bridal show model back in high school as a Men's Warehouse model. So like I actually got so when I was 17 years old, originally I was an actor at the time, and I got dabbling into modeling, and there was a local Men's Warehouse that needed more guys to showcase tuxedos. So what they wanted me to do was I would go to these bridal shows and actually be a model, like kind of do the catwalk of showcasing the newest, latest tuxedos. And immediately after doing my first show with them, they came up to me and asked me if I wanted to have a full-time job with them. And they wanted me to at first start off with prom season and basically get people to book tuxedos for weddings or for proms. And then eventually it went from prom to now booking people for weddings. And so literally what I'll do is you come in, I'll showcase like tuxedos and stuff for the people. And then they will, I'll eventually book. And so as I was doing that, I also was doing photography work at high school on the side. So that's where the whole creative side kicks in. And first, I wanted to just do straight just photography work, and then one of my teachers in high school made me to do a film project. So I got into the whole film side of things, or digital film, as I should say, and I ended up going from that to falling in love with film, which I started to do short films, and then immediately I was like, I got to go to school to this. So I went to film school. So my first ever experience was my best friend at the time, but now my girlfriend, she actually asked me to shoot her sister's wedding. And I've never experienced actually shooting his weddings before. That was my very first wedding. Thank you so much, Melissa and Cody Keys. Without them, I would not be sitting here right now.
Yeah.
And so they were my very first wedding. I had no idea what I was doing. I was very scared. Literally no idea at all. And I had like 5 cameras. I had 3 GoPros. I had, you name it. I was so like prepared to get it done. And I was just like, I gotta make sure this is right. And so I did it and they loved it. And then I went from that to somebody else. And then I started to expand to that. And then that's when I started falling in love with weddings. Then I started to, let me try to find a company to see if I could be involved video production. Then I saw a opportunity for this company on Indeed that does wedding services. And I ended up getting an interview with them, which I ended up actually finally getting into the whole wedding industry for videography, cinematography work. But then I decided that I need to split off and do my own thing. There's people I work with that are super awesome. And definitely without them, I would not be where I am today. So that's where I'm at. This is why I'm doing it.
Can I ask you 3 follow-up questions?
Sure.
First question. Are there any pictures of you from when you were modeling suits at Men's Warehouse?
Yes.
Can I see them?
100%.
Okay. Second question. What was your film about, the first one you did in high school?
Well, my film?
Yes.
It was a documentary on the football team.
Oh, really?
So yeah, it was just showcasing, highlighting each month for the school. We had a like spotlight student of the month.
Sure.
And so I did a football player for the very first one. Shot it on a T3i. It's very just basic. I think like we had a lavalier microphone, which I had no idea how to use. The person that was helping me out shoot it knew how to use it. So I was just like, cool, you could do the audio. I just pressed record. And then I remember editing it in iMovie. And then so like I started
iMovie, no.
I started with iMovie for like a quarter, meaning into school. And then immediately somebody was just like, don't use iMovie. There's a thing called Final Cut. I was like, sure, let's do that. So I started to do Final Cut, and that's when I started to like get more of a knowledge of editing. And then as I was doing that, though, I was doing a lot of school plays. And then our school was really big for like juniors and seniors if you were part of the drama club to create like one acts. And so that's when I kind of dabbled into directing and started to write actual stories. And then it just light bulb hit, and I was just like,
unraveled from there.
Oh, I could literally put these together and make short films. And then so I started taking the work home and start creating these short film ideas and start doing that. And then once I started to involve that, immediately that's when I knew like, this is it.
Yeah.
I need to
really
be
cool.
a filmmaker.
That's really cool. So last question. You mentioned video production. Something you were striving for. What is video production?
So, I mean, like that's a very like generic like title, but clearly video production is just producing films in a way. There are different video production companies that like, I guess, specialize or style in different like ways.
Yeah.
Where depending on what like a business or a corporation or even like somebody with weddings or like stuff like that go and try to hire them or contract them out. It's just creating videos for whatever specific client you may have.
Okay. Gotcha.
So that's pretty much what it is. And like I've worked outside of weddings. So there's a company here in St. Louis, which we are St. Louis based. There's a company here called Cool Flower Studios. I was actually, I worked there a very short period of time, but the thing was I did work there for I guess, animated editor, as you would say. which people who don't know that company, they do literally so many different projects. They're well-known projects that they have done is the show from Discovery Channel called Fast and Loud. And then also there's another one on Discovery called Sweetie Pies.
Wow.
So they actually have done, I guess, bigger production like gigs in a way.
Absolutely, yeah.
But then for me though, I was doing animating educational like videos. So like what we did was there was a client that we had that had all these like videos, I guess you would say like, for example, like Brain Pop, like where when you watch those videos, it was the robot and the guy, and you like learned a certain topic or subject manner.
Yeah.
It was kind of like that, but just a little bit, just different. And so what they did was they wanted us we hired actors for voiceovers, and we had illustrators to create different animation things. And then once that happened, once I got the script and then all the illustration things, it would come to me, and then I would have to put it all together and animate a video on whatever. And it could literally be from any sort of subject. I've done work like that, but for some reason I kept turning towards weddings, and I am here now.
Yeah.
So
Still here.
still here. So just out of curiosity, like what are you like looking forward to learning for like the wedding industry?
Yeah, I'm really excited to have some guests on, especially we're having some of our event coordinators. That's always kind of been, I feel like that's a job that I got my degree in communication. And I know that a few students that I went to school with, the eye was always on kind of event coordination. It's just one of those jobs that sounds like the best job in the world. But then you kind of take a step back and you ask yourself if you enjoy your weekends or if you want calls at 3 a.m. But I think the people that do that type of job just love it enough that it's just the best. You know, it's waking up and never regretting the decision that you made.
Well, especially like with me, I am to the point where this is all I do. I full-time just do this type of creative work. And honestly, I could say it doesn't feel like a job to me. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, there's moments where like I'm in the grind and like it's work, but it's fun work.
Yeah.
Like I'm always creating, I'm always coming up with new ideas. I'm coming up with new just things and trends, and it's always changing and evolving. So in that type of like way, in retrospect, like it is very enjoyable to just do this on a day in, day out, but it definitely takes a very special person to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I'm very excited. We do actually have a tip for you guys today, just to kind of show you guys that segment in for our podcast. Gabby, what is our tip today?
So today's tip is to have a day of checklist. So obviously you want to make this in advance, not the day of. But this would be including anything that you need to remember, any reminders that you need. If you need to have your emergency bag with your extra pair of shoes, some medicine, change of clothes. If you need to make any last minute phone calls or check-ins with your vendors, your photographers, your videographers, etc. Any food or drink coolers you need, all that good stuff. It never hurts to make a list and check it twice, as Santa might say.
Yes, which is perfect because, I mean, I've definitely seen days where there were situations that needed some sort of checklist, and which would put us behind when we were shooting because there was just small situations that would happen or just unexpected things that happened. Small tears to even like somebody not having enough bobby pins even to just literally
makeup
just
needed, all that good stuff.
Just literally the smallest things to even like larger things, like just to make sure to have those extra things to just make your day even special, just to make sure to have it. Cause like it definitely, you never know what could happen. Cause I mean,
yeah, you should always be prepared for the worst.
Yeah.
And hope for the best.
Yeah, 100%. But once again, guys, this is Weddings Made Perfect podcast. I'm very excited to see where this goes. We're going to be putting a lot of effort into this. We're going to be bringing in a lot of special guests, like we keep saying, and some really good topics and discussions on figuring out, like, to help you guys on your day, and also just showing you guys behind the weddings of what creative and vendor people do. And I'm very excited for this.
Don't forget, you can email us questions, suggestions, any of that good stuff. You can email us funny stories, tragic stories. You can do all that at weddingsmadeperfectpodcast@gmail.com.
Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Weddings Made Perfect Podcast. We would love to hear your guys' stories. Just comment on our episodes. Threads. We will definitely read every single one. Good, positive feedback, bad feedback, whatever you want to say, we will definitely read them. Any suggestions, like Gabby said, any stories or anything like that, we would love to hear it. We would love to give you guys a shout out. Hopefully soon as well. I would love to start doing little giveaways. I don't know fully what those giveaways will may be, but we never know. It could be like percentage off on certain places, little gift baskets, little gift cards. Like, I don't know fully yet, but I do know that I do have some ideas in the back of my head that I would love to do. But once again, guys, this is Weddings Made Perfect podcast. This is Ty and Gabby, and we are signing out. Email us at weddingsmadeperfectpodcast@gmail.com, or you can find us on Facebook or Instagram